Hello and welcome to this video on the impact of the First World War on Germany. If you are currently studying GCSE History, Weimar and Nazi Germany, 1918 to 1939, then I really hope you'll find this useful. During the First World War, Germany had faced the combined strength of the Allies. That meant Britain, France, Russia, Italy and the USA. It had been a long and expensive war, and as a result, Germany's debts had dramatically increased from 50 billion marks to 150 billion marks by the end of the war. 11 million Germans had fought in the war, and almost 2 million troops had died as a result. Not only did it have a detrimental impact on those fighting on the front, but it also caused many issues back home, with over 750,000 Germans having died as a result of food shortages. As a result of such suffering, the German people began to turn against their government. In October 1918, crews in the German Navy mutinied. They refused to follow orders in the ports of Kiel and Hamburg. In Stuttgart, at the Daimler plant, workers went on strike and demonstrated in the streets. In Hanover, soldiers refused to control the people who were rioting, and local people set up workers' and soldiers' councils to take over their cities. On the 7th of November in Munich, workers declared a general strike and protested in the streets. They were led by Kurt Eisner, a German communist, and they announced that they were separate from the rest of Germany. Clearly, Germany was in turmoil, and the government had lost complete control. It's safe to say that by November 1918, the German Revolution had begun. So, what happened next? When the government ministers met with the Kaiser, they had one aim: to restore peace. They asked the Kaiser to step down, as they believed that if he gave up his position as emperor, then they could start to calm the situation down in Germany. At first, the Kaiser was not willing to do this. However, he soon realised that he'd lost support of the German army. General Gruner, the army's second in command, informed the Kaiser that the officers at the HQ would refuse to support him. And with that, he realised he had no choice but to abdicate. On the 9th of November, he abdicated, and by the early hours of November 10th, he went into exile in Holland. The Declaration of the Republic. On the 9th of November, Berlin was a hotbed for tension. It was full of people. Some had gathered peacefully outside the Reichstag, which is the German parliament. Others had collected guns and took over parts of the city. Inside the Reichstag, a leading member of the SPD, Philipp Schneidmann, heard that the armed rioters were preparing to announce a communist government in Berlin. He rushed to an open window of the Reichstag and announced to the crowds that the Kaiser was gone and that there was a new German republic. This was a plea for a peaceful transition to a new regime. But the SPD had to act quickly. They had to establish a new republic as soon as possible. On the 9th of November, Max von Baden, the Kaiser's chancellor, handed his office to Friedrich Ebert, the leader of the SPD. The 10th of November, Ebert made an agreement with General Gruner for the army to work with the government to prevent the communists from taking power. Ebert also suspended the old Reichstag and named 6 moderate politicians to form a Council of People's Representatives. They would head the government until the new coalition could be agreed. Finally, on 11th of November, Ebert's representative, Matthias Erzberger, signed the armistice agreement with the Allies to end the war. This was the first major decision of the government and would lead to the Treaty of Versailles in 1919, the terms of which would plague the new republic. So there you have it, a brief video on the immediate impact of the First World War on Germany. I really hope that this has helped you. Have a quick think. Could you identify reasons why the Germans had to sign the armistice? Why do you think that the SPD had to act so quickly? Do you think that the Kaiser had no choice but to abdicate? Please feel free to comment in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you guys.